A computational deadlock is an unresolvable gridlock. It happens when multiple processes stall indefinitely, each waiting for a resource currently held by another. Computer science solved this problem decades ago. We have rigorously proven mathematical algorithms specifically designed to eliminate these lockups entirely. Yet the most dominant general-purpose operating systems running today, Windows, Linux, and Unix, refuse to use them. Instead, they rely on a strategy called the ostrich algorithm. This translates to literally doing nothing. They pretend deadlocks never happen. Why do billion-dollar software architectures rely on ignoring a critical system failure rather than mathematically preventing it? To understand this choice, we have to evaluate the computational performance tax of the proper alternatives. This graphic shows the 4 distinct strategies for deadlock management: prevention, avoidance, detection, and ignore. This is the PADI framework. Operating system design is a brutal optimization problem. It balances the strict guarantee of safety against the friction introduced into daily system performance. Let's look at deadlock prevention. This is a strict architectural strategy, dictating that at least one of the 4 required conditions for a deadlock must never occur. This diagram illustrates those 4 mandatory conditions, forming a closed loop: mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, and circular wait. Break one and a deadlock is impossible. First, we can target mutual exclusion by making resources universally shareable, allowing multiple processes simultaneous access. But physical hardware limits this. You cannot force a single printer to print 2 separate documents on the same sheet of paper simultaneously. Certain resources are strictly exclusive, so we move to hold and wait. The mitigation strategy here forces a process to request all of its necessary resources at exactly the same time, right at launch. This requires processes to hoard resources they aren't actively using. A program might lock up a disk drive for hours before actually writing a file, causing massive system-wide inefficiency and starving other processes. Third, we target no preemption. Here, we allow the system to forcefully strip resources away from active, running processes to give them to another. Forced resource preemption is highly disruptive. It requires the targeted process to abruptly lose its current operational state and attempt to restart later. Finally, we have circular wait. To break this, the operating system assigns a strict numerical hierarchy to all resources. By forcing processes to request resources exclusively in increasing numerical order, such as R1, then R2, then R3, circular geometry is eliminated. However, this severely restricts how a developer can write application logic. Deadlock prevention mathematically guarantees a safe state, but it enforces such draconian rules on the software that resource utilization and overall system performance collapse. Deadlock avoidance offers a more dynamic, runtime alternative. It allocates resources flexibly based on current conditions rather than hard-coded rules. This spatial map divides a system into a safe state zone, where a specific path exists for all processes to finish, and an unsafe state zone, which carries the statistical potential for a deadlock. To navigate this space without crossing into the danger zone, systems use the banker's algorithm. The core logic requires the system to simulate every single resource request mathematically before it physically grants permission to the software.
The algorithm looks for a safe sequence by mapping an exact order of operations, like process 1 to 3 to 2 to 4. It proves the system will not freeze. But the banker's algorithm has a fatal flaw, making it unusable in general-purpose computing. It requires perfect prior knowledge. To calculate that safe sequence, the algorithm must know the absolute maximum resource demand of every process before it even launches. Applications in dynamic operating environments, like a web browser opening dozens of unknown tabs, or a word processor pasting large images, rarely know their peak memory or hardware needs in advance. Avoidance provides a theoretically perfect mathematical safety net, yet its reliance on perfect system clairvoyance makes it completely incompatible with the chaotic reality of modern computing. The third strategy is detection and recovery. Here, the system allows deadlocks to occur organically, continuously scans for them, and attempts to break them after the fact. For single-instance resources, the operating system builds and monitors this wait-for graph. The circular nodes represent active processes, and the arrows map out their current resource requests. The algorithm scans this graph in real time, looking for one specific geometry, a closed cycle. A confirmed cycle in a wait-for graph mathematically guarantees that a deadlock state has been reached. Multi-instance resources use a similar matrix approach. Both variations require continuous active CPU monitoring to function. Once the graph flags a deadlock cycle, the operating system must enter the recovery phase to break it. The first method is process termination. The OS evaluates the gridlock and ruthlessly aborts one or all deadlocked processes. This results in sudden application crashes and the immediate loss of unsaved user work.
The alternative is resource preemption. The system rolls a process back to a previous state to free up its holds. If the same process is repeatedly targeted as the victim, it risks indefinite starvation. Detection and recovery offloads the strict architectural rules of prevention and avoidance. In exchange, it introduces a continuous CPU tax for graph monitoring, paired with destructive, data-losing recovery methods. Armed with an understanding of prevention, avoidance, and detection, we can now map why the ostrich algorithm wins the engineering debate. This matrix evaluates the four methods based on their system safety guarantee, plotted against their computational overhead. Prevention secures maximum safety, but imposes excessively high architectural overhead and rigid restrictions. Avoidance also provides maximum safety, but requires impossible predictive capabilities. Detection and recovery sits in the middle. Partial safety, but it brings a continuous CPU tax and destructive user consequences. The ignore strategy, the ostrich algorithm, offers zero guaranteed mathematical safety, but it carries absolutely zero systemic overhead. In general-purpose systems, actual system-halting deadlocks are exceedingly rare occurrences. Paying a massive, continuous computational tax on a daily basis to prevent a rare statistical anomaly is terrible engineering. The ostrich algorithm represents a deliberate optimization. In high-performance architecture, the most sophisticated choice often involves accepting a rare risk to avoid a permanent performance tax.